excited to have been able to hang out with you guys for yet another year. And tonight's story is definitely going to be a very sad one, but an intense one as well. So get ready, get yourselves prepared, and let's just dive into it today. Get yourselves nice and comfortable. Grab yourselves a nice spooky glass of water, some Halloween candy, a drink. I can't keep headphones on in my ears to save my life right now. Whatever it is you may need as we talk about the real story behind the Scream movies. And we're not even going to really be talking about those movies, but they do segue into what is actually an incredibly horrifying story that stemmed into a series that a lot of people truly love, but they might not actually know has a lot of deep-seated, rooted evil stories to it. So, yes, today we will be talking about Danny Rolling, who was the Gainsville Ripper. So, if you are a fan of the Scream franchise, you probably are aware that this is rooted in some sick stuff. The story of Danny Rolling, in summary, is that over the course of 4 days, he had terrorized the college students of Gainesville, Florida, in a murderous rampage. So Danny Rolling lived an unhappy life. He was a tortured soul since birth. Rolling, aka the Gainesville Ripper, passed on the horrifying abuse he had endured onto his victims. It was 1990 when this had happened, when he'd went on a rampage, murdering 5 University of Florida students in a spree that terrified the nation. But despite huge media coverage, Danny Rolling was never actually caught for the murders. It was only when he was arrested for an unrelated burglary charge that he'd confessed to these horrific murders and was unmasked as the Gainesville Ripper. A few short years later, these murders had then become even more infamous when they were made into the films Scream. So, Danny Harold Rolling, born on May 26, 1954, to Claudia and James Rolling in Shreveport, Louisiana. Unfortunately for Danny, his father had never wanted children. He was a cop and he had consistently abused his wife and children. He was only 1 year old, Danny, when his father had abused him for the first time. He was beaten because he was crawling improperly, which is so messed up. It's a baby. When Kevin, Danny's younger brother, was born in 1955, the abuse had only gotten worse. Claudia, his mother, tried to escape the toxic marriage, but time and time again she would return. When Danny had failed the 3rd grade for too many absences due to illness, his mother had a nervous breakdown. Danny's school counselors described him as suffering from an inferiority complex. When Danny had failed the 3rd grade for too many absences due to illness, his mother had had a nervous breakdown. Danny's school counselors described him as suffering from an inferiority complex with aggressive tendencies and poor
Danny's father had beaten him for this. But Danny tried to stay